Hello, I'm Tom Bankston, Artistic Director of Dayton Opera in the Dayton Performing Arts Alliance, and I'm glad to be here today to share with you a bit about the Dayton Opera and its upcoming Reimagined season. Our two productions of this season are under the banner of Essential Opera, operas that are defined as essential, absolutely necessary, and extremely important. I'm pleased to have with me today the stage directors of these two productions, Gary Briggle, the stage director of Mozart's Don Giovanni, and stage director of Verdi's La Traviata, Johnathon Pape. Before I turn it over to the two of them to tell you about each of their productions, let me briefly explain our essential opera concept. Dayton Opera is responding to the COVID-19 pandemic with these two innovative productions for our Reimagined season and return to the stage of the Schuster Center. Essential Opera, Don Giovanni and La Traviata, will present these two essential titles in the opera repertory in a way that responds to the needs of our current times and to our artists and audience. Essential Opera will focus on the essence of the music and drama of these works in abridged 90-minute, no intermission productions that capture all of their greatness in an exciting and 21st century way. This compact format will adhere to social distancing both on stage and in the audience, and other health parameters, making a welcomed and safe experience for both our artists and the audience. In addition, an internet streamed version will make this unique performance experience accessible to those patrons who are not quite ready to return to an in-theater live performance. Now, let me invite you to hear from our two stage directors to say a few words about their productions. Hello, Gary, and hello, Johnathon.
Hello.
Gary,
Good morning.
Why don't you lead off with a little bit about your production?
Well, it's been very exciting to get to the essence of a magnificent epic work like Don Giovanni and bring it down to the proportions of a 90-minute event. It's breathtaking to have to take a blue pencil to a work like this, and yet it's an opportunity to ask questions about what is the essential plot, what are the turns of emotional, psychological event that define the quality of the story itself, and what is our point of view? And I think I felt very early on that if Leporello could bring us into his confidence, since he's really the survivor of the conflagration at the end, then he could always be the narrator of the piece.
Right. Leporello, the servant of Don Giovanni.
Yes,
right?
sir. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And in every version of this story, Leporello has the ear and attention of the audience. And it is sort of through his perspective that we go on these escapades and adventures. So quite apart from choosing which of the beautiful set pieces, arias, and ensembles we must keep, as well as keeping the narrative line taut and tight so that it doesn't go slack and do a disservice to the work that Da Ponte and Mozart created. I set out to create an English language narration, which then gave birth to an English language set of supertitles, and a way of telling this story that gives the audience the satisfaction of hearing all the moments perhaps that they'd like to hear, and also, we hope, gives them a refreshing new perspective on the work. At this point in the staging, the challenge with not having scenery or costumes or properties is to create a gestural, physical vocabulary that is an equivalent for the various kinds of violence and intimacies, erotic, sensual, and passionate intimacies that punctuate the story, without allowing the singers to be able to take each other in their arms or stand in close proximity.
All of this 6 feet apart.
Yes, it's quite a challenge. because there is a lot of crucial action that that takes place in close proximity in the drama. So I'm just working on, with the help of Anne Bogart and others in my field, a gestural, physical, facial expressivity that keeps the audience engaged and becomes our, for want of a better word, sign language for those moments that would be expressed otherwise.
Great, great. And Jonathan, La Traviata, another essential work. How are you approaching this?
Well, in much the same ways as Gary, and the excitement and the challenge of this, I feel as well, taking a classic, not just a classic of opera, but the novel it's based on and the play that was achieved from the novel were classics of 19th century Romantic theater. So the interesting thing to me about Traviata is that essentially it is a very intimate story of character relationships, of love and betrayal and loss, and focusing on that intimacy is really key to this. The other thing that's important about the piece itself is that Dumas, the son who wrote this story based on his own relationship with a courtesan in mid-19th century Paris, wrote about his own experience, and he is the model for Alfredo in the opera. So we start the opera with Alfredo writing about this relationship he had with Violetta on the 1-year anniversary of her death. And it's looking back at what he did, what she did, how these events transpired, and he creates the narrative device. And it also is an English language connecting device, although it will be read as if we are reading a projection of the pages he's written. And all of the greatest tunes and greatest hits are preserved in this. And even though we lose some of the big choral numbers or big crowd scenes, or they are pared down, I think we really are able to focus on that essential romance and the essential tragedy that comes about because of this. And I think it will actually work quite well. It's also, again, under 90 minutes and really flows in such a beautiful way, and allows us to participate in this intimate drama, intimate yet socially distanced drama, which is kind of an oxymoron when you're considering it's about a courtesan. But there we are.
Right. I mean, you referenced the fact that we won't have our wonderful Dayton Opera Chorus as a part of either of these productions, just because of the it seems that choral singing is sort of a super spreader. But we hopefully we'll have them back in subsequent seasons. But it's all how we're reimagining everything about this season, and I'm so pleased to be partnering with you two gentlemen in coming up with these two great productions for Dayton Opera in its 60th anniversary season, and my 25th season with the company, and actually final season with the company. So thank you for being with us today, to both of you. And thank you for helping us to provide a glimpse into Dayton Opera's reimagined season, a season that will be responding to the unique challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic, while still providing exciting, essential opera for the Dayton community. Thank you.